Also, and I hate to say this, but if you ever go on The Bachelor, make sure you know how to do your makeup. Like, phone a friend, take lessons or something if you have to. Because her daytime makeup didn't look good. Her nighttime makeup looked really good, but daytime just was not it. Hi everyone, my name is Demetri and welcome back to DemetriTube. The Bachelor, Night 5. Let's talk about it. As always, if you're enjoying my videos, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. I'm a growing YouTuber and the likes and subscribes really help me out. So just two quick things before we get started. First, more than likely, you are not gonna see a lot of graphics on this video. I have an accounting quiz tomorrow, so I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to do that much video editing. The second thing, wait, what was the second thing I was gonna tell y'all? Oh yeah, Love is Blind season 6 is out and I will have no time to watch it until like the end of next week. So if you're watching this video and you've already started watching it, how is it? Please no spoilers, but just tell me if it's good. And apparently they released the first 6 episodes and like for 5 or 6 of the episodes, they're in the pods. And for me, the pods normally is the most boring part. So for them to be in the pods for like 5 or 6 episodes is like wild. In my head, I'm like, what are they doing? Okay, that's all I got. Let's dive into the episode. So the episode starts with a rose ceremony, but just before the rose ceremony, a few things happen. There's 2 things I want to mention. First, Lexi's dress was really cute. It was like a long black gown with like a tie at the neck. It was kind of like a scarf effect that goes into the dress. This was really cute. I actually wish we could have seen more of this dress. Next, Maria is spiraling and she's talking with production, possibly considering going home, and Medina and her have a one-on-one. And Maria specifically says, I don't get along with anyone in this. Now, in this moment, I will say I thought this was kind of fake of Medina because she is consoling Maria, but Medina is also 30% of the reason why all of this even happened in the first place. And I'm just curious what route Medina is going to take at the Women Tell All. Is she still going to be friends with Sydney and possibly be on her side? Or is she going to take Maria's side and say she was wrong and say Sydney was a bad friend? So then we move on to the rose ceremony and there was just a few upsets here. So Caitlyn got a rose and every time she gets a rose, I'm shocked. Next, Daisy's dress is not flattering. Autumn got a rose and that was pretty shocking as well. Medina got a rose and when she did, I rolled my eyes so hard. And of course, Leia got a rose. Production's not letting the villain go that quickly. So Edwina and Allie get sent home, which to me was not that surprising. But I will say, I think Allie was like Maria's only true friend there. So that kind of sucks for Maria that Allie's going home. Anyways, after that, we get flown out to Andalusia, Spain. And yep, it's that time, outfit of the episode. For this week's outfit of the episode, I am giving it to Kelsey T for her outfit on the group's arrival to Spain. Kelsey T is wearing a cross top with a matching high-waisted pant. I'm not sure what color it is. It's either black or dark green or brown. Sorry, the color blindness is acting up. And she looks amazing. She's giving us body, she's giving us hips. She very much stands out. And I love that she paired this with straight hair because if she had gone with like a curlier or more frizzy hair, she definitely would have risked looking like Selena, but her choosing the straight hair was a really smart choice. So for that, I gave her outfit of the episode. So before the first one-on-one date starts, all of the contestants are having a kiki together and they're drinking some sangria. And I have a question for y'all. Do y'all like sangria? Let me know below in the comments. So I don't really drink that much, but I definitely do not like sangria. It's just way too acidic for me. And while they're having a kiki, Maria was being real messy and she was stirring the pot, but I absolutely loved it. She asks the other contestants,
if Leia didn't throw the card in the fire, would one of y'all have taken it? And would you have used it?
Most of the women say no, and it becomes very clear to me that most of the contestants this season are just flat out liars. Kelsey T responds, I would have held on to it, but not used it. And like, I guess I'll accept that as an answer, but I swear everybody else was just lying. And Leia responds, I'll be patient and wait my turn. And y'all, Leia is just so phony. I feel like if you truly wanted time with Joey, you'd be like, waiting. And don't get me wrong, I get it. The women don't want to be unfair to the other contestants, but the whole situation is just unfair. So this is just how I see it. So on this show, there are a bunch of like mini dates that we do not see. During Matt James's season, they like aired this. They aired a lot of like unseen footage, and you see that a lot of the contestants get like mini dates, but we may just not necessarily see them. And if you think about it, if ABC really wanted to, they could give everyone in the top 12 a one-on-one date, but they don't. So in itself, it's like not fair. And I get it, like they have a show to make. And also a lot of reality competition shows have elements of unfairness that we just don't see on camera. So in my eyes, if you're given an advantage, like here, have this one-on-one date, use it. Use it to your advantage. The whole situation is unfair. So if you're given an advantage, just use it. And I get it. Clearly they gave out the advantage to cause drama, but I would much rather use the advantage and cause drama versus just throwing it in the fire. And as we have all seen this season, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And also another thing I do want to say about this is that aspect feels very pageant-y to me. Like you want to get along with all the other girls, but the problem is there's no prize for being Miss Congeniality. Like I guess you can end up being friends with everyone and then y'all can party in San Diego together, but I think you still could have taken the date and thrown someone under the bus and still end up with friends and all of this. Like if there was a prize for congeniality on this show, I would get it, but there isn't. And one more thing I want to say about this, I swear, before we move on, is it's also like a pick-me thing too. Like the women want to be chosen by Joey. It's that whole idea of waiting for my knight in shining armor to come save me, or like the damsel in distress waiting for the guy to come save her from the castle. A lot of women want to be chosen by a guy, and in this similar sense, they want Joey to choose them for a date. They don't want to use a date card and create the date themselves. So I get that too. Next, if you made it this far in the video, please go ahead and pound that like button for the YouTube algorithm. So Kelsey A ends up getting picked for the one-on-one date, and because of this, Kelsey T completely spirals. And like, she doesn't spiral too hard, but she's pretty upset because she wanted this date, and she's also starting to catch feelings for Joey. So for the one-on-one with Joey and Kelsey A, they take a Vespa to different shops to pick up stuff for a picnic. They walk the streets of Andalusia. They play soccer. They speak with some of the locals. And one weird thing that I will say is, so in Europe, I thought everyone spoke English. So for all of the locals attempting to try to speak to them in Spanish, I thought that was kind of weird because literally I've been told everyone in Europe speaks English. Because y'all know I'm going to Berlin in the fall and I don't speak any German. So hopefully everyone speaks English there. And then when it comes to Kelsey A's outfit, I'm guessing it wasn't all that because I don't remember it and I didn't write anything in my notes about it. So overall for the date, the daytime portion was like a perfect date. You're getting on Vespas, you're having a picnic, you're walking around seeing the city. To me, this is like the perfect date to have in Spain. So this is just my opinion. For a date scenario, I would prefer to just kind of like explore the city and then look at the sights over maybe going to a museum specifically. So that's why I consider this like a perfect date. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy exploring the culture, museums, and stuff like that. But for a date scenario, you may not necessarily know if the other person appreciates things like that in the same way you do. And then we move on to the night portion of the date. And Joey and Kelsey A go to like an ancient bathhouse. And like, I don't know why the producers are obsessed with bathhouses all of a sudden. But Joey and Kelsey A are at an ancient bathhouse. I'm pretty sure during Zach's season, they also went to like a more ancient bathhouse. And then on Clayton's season, Clayton and Susie went to like an actual bathhouse. Anyways, so for Kelsey A's outfit, she looks fine. Her dress is cute, but I'm not like completely gagged. And I also wish she wore a necklace, but overall, this dress is fine. And then when it comes to Joey, I think this is the sexiest he has ever looked while on this franchise. The gray suit with the black shirt open with the gold necklace, and the hair was just right. The nighttime lighting was right. Joey looked really good on this date. I'm starting to understand why y'all like him so much. During the one-on-one, Kelsey A talks about how her parents were both MPs in the army, and I'm pretty sure that's how they met. And fun fact about me, I was also in the army, and I was not an MP, but I was a medic for an MP unit. So I thought that was kind of cool. Moving on, she talks about her mom and how she was such a wonderful woman, and her mom got diagnosed with breast cancer and it was very severe, and she died not too long after that. And Kelsey also believes in signs, and she thinks butterflies are a sign, and she feels like butterflies are a sign that her mom is around. She gives a couple examples of that, and I thought that was so sweet. And overall, this was a fantastic date. Y'all know I'm rooting for Kelsey A. I do think she's gonna make top 4, but we will just have to wait and see. The only read that I do have though is that, especially during the daytime portion, it almost seems like Kelsey A likes Joey more than he likes her. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Okay, now we're moving on to the group date, and like, is it just me, or do the group dates this season just feel extra pick me? Like, I know every season the group dates feel very pick me, but this season more than others, they just feel more pick me, or is that just me? Let me know below in the comments. For the group date, the contestants and Joey meet up with Paula, the mixed media coordinator, and they write a quote, and then they have to paint a picture that represents the quote, and whoever has the best one wins more time with Joey. And during this entire date, Leia was so bothered by Maria. Whenever Leia spoke, it was something about Maria, and it's just clear Maria is living in Leia's head rent-free. And overall, this group date was terrible. I wish when the women were painting the paintings, Joey had like walked around and they could talk about their thought process or something. It just, I don't know, this group date was just missing a little more. I just wish they made these painting dates a little more dynamic somehow, and I think that would help. But overall, I definitely wish they did something else. So Jess ends up winning, and she painted like a diamond ring with some colors in the background, and she said, "The diamond I hope to receive." And like, it's okay to be material. If you're a material girl, that's fine, but you don't want to sound material, and I very much thought Jess sounded very material in that moment. Since Jess won, she got some extra one-on-one time with Joey, and they got to do the paint date where they just cover themselves in paint and they roll around, and I absolutely hate this. I've seen this date thousands of times on The Bachelor. Please, production, think of something new. Now we're moving on to the night portion of the group date, and there's just a few things I want to mention. First, what do y'all think of Autumn's outfit? So I like Autumn's outfit, but in the back of my head, I'm like, is this right for a cocktail party? And I think that's very much up for debate. Next, Kelsey T and Joey have a one-on-one, and Kelsey T says she's starting to have feelings for Joey. And y'all know I love Kelsey T, but one of my subscribers in the comments, Amy Lynn's Graphics, said that she thinks Kelsey T is gonna get a one-on-one date, and while on that one-on-one, Joey's gonna tell her his relationships with others have progressed more, and he's gonna let her go. And I agree with her. I think, unfortunately, I think that's what's gonna happen. And that's not a spoiler, it's very much a prediction from one of my subscribers, but I do agree with her. I think that's what's gonna happen. And I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna be just as heartbroken when it happens. Next, Joey is tired on this group date. Normally, Joey is at 110%, but I guess we're just reaching that point in the season where they're keeping him awake a lot and he's having to do a lot of traveling. So on this date, to me, he was giving like 80% when he's normally giving 110, and it was pretty obvious to me. And finally, we get a one-on-one with Maria. So she tells Joey she grew up with her dad and she's a daddy's girl, and when she was 1 year old, she was in a bad car accident, and I think her mom broke like every bone in her body or something, but Maria was okay, and it led to her mother being depressed, and she ended up not being around, and their father really tried to make it work. Maria tells Joey that experience is why she's the person she is. She does not get hung up on like petty stuff, and she thinks it's dumb to get on petty stuff, and sometimes she can have issues with dealing with groups of women like this. I think that's what she said. Sorry y'all, I finished this episode a couple days ago. I'm late to filming. And Maria ends up getting the rose, and there's something I want to say about the story stories this episode, but I'm going to wait until Rachel's one-on-one to say it. Now we're moving on to the one-on-one with Rachel. And if you're watching this video and you're a Rachel stan, just a heads up, I'm going to read her. So when it comes to Rachel, social media and a few of y'all in my comments really liked Rachel. But for me, she was very much like middle of the road. Like out of 20 contestants, I would place her at 10, smack dab in the middle. Like not the worst contestant, but not the best. But now after all of the Leia and Sydney drama, I just cannot trust her and I do not want Joey to pick her. And after Rachel gets chosen for the one-on-one, she says, "I have a date with my husband." And that was just so cringe. So for the date, Joey and Rachel go flamenco dancing. And I will say, Rachel was so excited for the date, and this was like her dream date. And I love that she got her dream date. But when it comes to her outfit, it was not outfitting. She wore like a tube top, a long white skirt, and I think flats. And this outfit just was not it. Her belly button ring looked cute, but this outfit just did not translate well to camera. Also, and I hate to say this, but if you ever go on The Bachelor, make sure you know how to do your makeup. Like phone a friend, take lessons or something if you have to, because her daytime makeup didn't look good. Her nighttime makeup looked really good, but daytime just was not it. So Joey and Rachel learned a flamenco dance, and then they got to perform it in front of a crowd, and they got to wear new outfits. Joey looked amazing, and as always, he had a button-up shirt with a few buttons down. And I'm gonna clock Joey real quick. Joey, I get it. I understand you love to show your chest and have a few buttons down, but I would like to see more range. You're serving this to us like basically for every single date, and I'm expecting more at this point. And then Rachel looked like the dancing woman emoji. So I thought this was a really cool date. I would have loved to do this date, but I also have rhythm, so there's that. Then we move on to the night portion of the date, and Rachel's dress is fine, but definitely her makeup looks way better. Some of y'all are gonna drag me for saying this, but whatever. Rachel has a few tattoos, and her tattoos are a little hood. So she has a tattoo like right here, and it's like a couple numbers, but like that lettering, I usually see it like guys will put it on their stomach, and they'll put their like birth year and that type of lettering. And then she also has another tattoo down the middle of her back, and like, I hate to say it, y'all, her tattoos just look a little hood to me. So Rachel and Joey did not talk about much, but she talked about moving from Hawaii to the mainland to pursue nursing. And she talks about how nursing is a very difficult job for her because she'll often take on a lot of the emotions from dealing with patients and the emotions from family. And let me just say, one thing I loved about this episode is, so the stories we got from Kelsey, Maria, and Rachel, none of them were like overly dramatic, in my opinion. So don't get me wrong, everybody's story is valid, everyone has their experiences, yada, yada, yada. But for the most part, Kelsey, Maria, and Rachel's stories to me were very normal. Like Kelsey lost a parent, Maria got in her car accident, and Rachel has struggles dealing with her work. Like, and I don't know if I'm explaining this the best I can, but none of the stories to me came off as like, oh, woe is me. It just came off as, I'm trying to get closer to you, so I'm sharing this part of me. And I really like that. And then when it comes to Joey and Rachel's connection, I'm not seeing like a huge connection, but also at this point, I'm very much rooting against her. After that, we move on to the cocktail party, and just a few things I want to say. First, Kelsey T loves a red-orange dress. And during Kelsey T and Joey's one-on-one, I just thought to myself, if they had like 1 to 2 years, I think this could work. But due to the short length of the process, it's just not enough time for them to get there. Next, we get a one-on-one with Daisy. And I know a lot of you are Daisy stans, but like, I don't know what it is. I'm just tired of her. And I don't want Joey to pick her. But the color of her dress was really pretty though. Next, we got a short one-on-one with Joey and Jen. And Jen uses her stethoscope to read Joey's heart rate, and this was just corny. And lastly, Maria pulls Joey for a one-on-one, and they get a little more time together. And this is where the drama starts. And when Maria pulled Joey for that one-on-one, Jess was pissed. After Maria returns to where the contestants are, she sits next to Jess, and Jess tells her, pretty confident with the rose, and Maria responds, yes. And then Maria asks, is it a problem I spoke to Joey right now? And then Jess responds, it was a little disrespectful. And then Maria claps back and says, how was it disrespectful? And Jess basically stutters and can't really give an answer. And then Maria quickly dismisses it, tries to move on, and Jess claps back and calls her rude. And this completely sets Jess off. And then she walks off, tells her to grow up, and she calls her a Okay, so let's unpack this. First, I'm definitely Team Maria in all of this, but Maria really needs to work on her delivery. When she told Jess, is it a problem I spoke to Joey right now? Her tone was just so disrespectful, and I feel like she knew that was gonna set Jess off. And let's be real, y'all. The way Maria said that, like, she was looking for a battle. Next thing I want to say about Maria. So I don't know if Maria purposely did this. Like, is she playing the game like she was purposely trying to take away time from the other women? Or did she just want to talk to Joey? I don't know. And if she purposely did this to piss off Jess, I totally stand that, because apparently nobody in the house likes her anyway. So if nobody likes you, you might as well do what you want. Next, Jess is very much a hypocrite. During night 1 or night 2, Jess spoke to Joey 2 times when there were multiple women in the house who had not had conversations with Joey, and she didn't care. And this is very much the same situation. And that's very hypocritical of Jess, because when you do it, it's okay, but if somebody else does it to you, it's a problem. Next, after Jess walks off, Maria is still with the group talking, and she's in front of the whole group, but she's talking to Rachel, and I was like, oh my God, Maria, please do not talk to Rachel. Rachel cannot be trusted, and the moment you leave the room, everything you just said, she is gonna go tell Leah and Jess. And that's partly why I think Maria just wanted to talk to Joey. Like, I don't think she purposely talked to Joey to try to piss off Jess, because to me, I just don't think she was trying to be strategic there. And the fact that she was explaining herself to Rachel just to me seems like she wasn't talking to Joey just to be strategic, because then she wouldn't have talked to Rachel further about it. And lastly, during this whole exchange, we do get like a side voiceover from Lexi, and she says, Jess is just a little jealous of Maria. It just seems like she's an easy target. Her and Joey have a really strong connection, and that can be threatening to the girls who haven't had much time. When Lexi said this, she was very diplomatic. It was clear she was not taking a side, and also I think she's a trusted voice in the house. Through all of this drama, she's either not getting involved or she's kind of just friends with everyone. So I think we can trust her when she says it's clear Jess is a little jealous of Maria. And let me know below in the comments what y'all think is happening in the house this season. But I do think there are alliances in the house, but I do very much think there's a Leah and Jess side, and there's also a Maria side. And we're not getting the full story, but it's very clear that Jess, Leah, and Rachel are on one side and Maria is on another side. And I can't exactly pinpoint who's on Maria's side, but it feels like there are people who either back her up or defend her a little bit, but also like kind of just try their best not to be involved. And finally, we move on to the rose ceremony. And the first thing I want to ask y'all is, what do you think of Autumn's dress? I don't like it. The only big upset during this rose ceremony to me was that Caitlyn stayed. Autumn and Medina got sent home, and that really just was not a surprise. And that is the end of the episode and the end of this review. If you enjoyed this review, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.